This is going to be a review of what we've done already in this Sugya. So a lot of this will sound familiar, and that's okay. So and after this, we're going to go through quite a bit of it, everything that we've learned, and then we'll continue with new recordings. So here we go. Rav Ikla lebe Geniva besali shel Shabbat be'erev Shabbat. Rav happened to be in the house of the sage Geniva, and he was praying a Shabbat prayer while it was still daytime on Friday. Vehave metzale Rabbi Yirmiyah bar Abba le'achorei de Rav. Rav Yirmiyah bar Abba, who was his student, was praying behind Rav. Vesiem Rav finished his prayer. Velo paske litzlote de Rav Yirmiyah, but he did not take 3 steps back to interrupt Rav Yirmiyah's prayer. This is the little story, and we learn 3 things from here. Shma mina tlat. Learn 3 things from here. Shma mina, learn 1, mitpalel adam shel Shabbat be'erev Shabbat. Learn that a person is allowed to say a amidah of Shabbat while it's still daytime on Friday. That's allowed to be done. That's the first thing we learn from this story, because Rav did it. Another thing that we learn, ushma mina mitpalel talmid achorei rabo. That a student should pray behind his rabbi. That is the second thing that we learn from the story, because Rav Yirmiyah was praying le'achorei de Rav, he was praying behind his rabbi. And the third thing, ushma mina, learn from here, asur la'avor keneged hamitpalelin. That it's prohibited to pass before someone who's praying. Meaning, if someone's in the middle of Amidah, you shouldn't pass in front of him. And that we learned from Rav, because Rav refused to finish and conclude and take 3 steps back because Rav Yirmiyah was praying. So now the Gemara asks a question. Rav Yirmiyah, hechi avid hachi. How was Rav Yirmiyah allowed to pray behind his rabbi? That shouldn't be allowed. Veha amar Rav Yehuda amar Rav. Rav Yehuda said in the name of Rav, le'olam al yitpalel adam lo keneged rabo velo achorei rabo. The general rule is that a person should never pray next to his rabbi or behind his rabbi. So how is it that Rav Yirmiyah in the story prayed behind his rabbi Rav? Now, what is the reason why a person can't pray next to his rabbi? So Rashi says the reason is etzel rabo umar'e ke'ilu shavim. That it shows that they're equal. When a student prays next to his rabbi, it shows that they're equal, and that's not true. A student is not equal to his rabbi, so he cannot pray next to him. What's the reason why he can't pray behind him? So here we have a machloket, an argument between Rashi and Tosfot. Rashi says the reason why he cannot pray achorei rabo is nami yurahu, because if you're right behind your rabbi, it also shows that you're bigger than you normally are. It's showing arrogance, and really you should be in the back if you're a student. You shouldn't even be in close proximity to your rabbi. That's Rashi's interpretation. Tosfot says the reason why you can't pray behind your rabbi is shenir'eh kemishtachave lerabo. It seems like he's bowing down to his rabbi, and that's not something we want to give that impression. We don't want to give that impression that it looks like we're bowing down to the rabbi. Regardless who you hold like, Rashi or Tosfot, as to why the reason is you can't do so, you're not allowed to do so. A student cannot pray behind the rabbi. So how is it possible? Back to our question, Rav Yirmiyah hechi avid hachi. How was he able to do so when you're not allowed to do? Not only is one not allowed to pray behind his rabbi, as we just saw. Look what else the Braita says. The Braita says, Vetanya, there was a Braita learned Rabbi Eliezer Omer. Rabbi Eliezer says, we only learned this line, Hamitpalel achorei rabo. If someone prays behind his rabbi, we're going to skip all the way to the last line. Gorem la shechina shetistalek mi Israel. It causes the Shekhinah, the divine presence of Hashem, to be removed and withdrawn from Bnei Israel. So not only are you not allowed to pray behind your rabbi because it looks like you're bowing down or it looks like you're arrogant, but you're also causing the Shekhinah to be removed. So this only makes our question even stronger. How was Rav Yirmiyah able to pray behind his rabbi? So the Gemara answers, no. Shani Rabbi Yirmiyah. Rabbi Yirmiyah bar Abba was different. Shani ushoneh, he was different. de talmid chaver hava, because he was not just a student, but he was a student friend. He was a student chaver. So they were kind of on the same level, and that's why it was okay for him to pray behind Rav. How does the Gemara know that Rav Yirmiyah was a student friend? He was a friend of Rav and not just a normal student. V'hainu deka'amar le Rav Yirmiyah bar Abba le Rav, because when Rav Yirmiyah asked Rav a question about Shabbat, he asked him, Mi badalta? Did you stop working? Now I see you praying your Shmona Esrei, your Amidah of Shabbat on Friday. Did you stop working? Now when we learned that whenever you use the word you, it shows that there's a friendship involved. And Amar le, and he responded to him, yes, badilna, I stopped working. Velo amar mi badil mar. When Rav Yirmiyah asked a question, he did not use the term mar or master or rabbi, which would have been the more appropriate term when referring to your rabbi. You always refer to your rabbi in third person. You refer to him as Rebbe or Rabbi or Master. But that's not what Rav Yirmiyah did. Rav Yirmiyah said, did you stop working? You is something that you only use when you speak amongst friends. So that's the Gemara's proof that indeed Rav Yirmiyah and Rav were friend colleagues.